I think we're meant to be... We're live!
Good. Excellent.
Hey guys, you're watching Tech Radar. I'm Basil.
I'm Gareth. Hello.
And guess what just happened?
What?
The Samsung Galaxy Note 8 just launched.
So what did happen? I was like, I thought something else had happened that we hadn't found out about. Yes, it has. That is correct.
Yeah, no, nothing else has happened because we kind of knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yep.
And that's not just because we knew what was going to happen. We also, like, it's been everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. We knew exactly what was going to happen, partly because we'd seen it ahead of time. As we know, we'll let your background go away. Yeah, sure. In the meantime, we'll talk about it. So the Galaxy Note 8, yes, was launched in New York, but obviously we'd seen it before, had a good fondle with it. Both of us had separate time playing with the new phablet from Samsung, and I don't know, I said it was sort of dull in its predictability, but it's still an awesome phone because it's exactly what we thought it was going to be, even without the leaks, but we had about 1,000 leaks anyway.
Yeah, we really did.
Yeah.
But, like, the Samsung Galaxy S8, best phone in the world?
Yes, the Galaxy S8 definitely, yeah. Or the Plus in my view, but
yeah,
depends
mine,
what you like.
Mine too,
Yeah.
largely based on the battery life.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus with a pen and a smaller battery.
Yeah, the battery thing bothers me a little bit because obviously Samsung's quite good at optimizing its battery. It knows what it's doing when it comes to making those batteries last longer, but just make it bigger. It's a taller phone. There's more space in there. I know it's not as simple as physics. It's like more space equals more battery, but still, come on.
But make it bigger in terms of it's 0.1 inch larger than the S8 Plus, which for me makes this whole thing feel a little bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
It should have been 6.5 inches.
Yeah, it also feels a little bit more elongated and stuff as well. So I found that when you sort of hold the two phones together, you held them differently. Like I held the S8 Plus a bit lower down. The S8 was sort of like the Note 8 was sort of in the middle. So that actually meant I could reach more of the screen. But I was thinking, there's just more space in it. Give a bigger battery. It might be fine. It might be a complete worryless situation, and we shouldn't really care about it at all. But come on, get the specs right.
But this is the thing, like in terms of the design, it is the thickest and heaviest Samsung. 8.5 millimeters, 8.6 millimeters, and 195 on 194 grams or something.
Yeah.
But
I looked at these specs literally 10 minutes ago. I don't remember this that well.
He's a machine. He is a machine. But yeah, so like it's still a relatively kind of comfortable phone for something as big as it is. You've got a USB-C at the bottom and a headphone jack, and it's also IP68, water and dust resistant. Mono bottom firing speaker.
Yep.
That was always going to happen with an Infinity display.
Yep.
6.3 inches.
Why does it have to be on an Infinity display? It's still got an earpiece, and that's where most of the sound comes from in terms of the phones that fire forward. They don't have a separate speaker. It still comes out the earpiece. Like, why can't they have it on the Samsung?
And like I was going to make the excuse that it has to have like
Stop
enough
excusing
space for
Samsung.
a cavity or something, but like the Moto Z2 Play is so thin, so thin, and that still has a front firing speaker there. So Samsung could have probably done it, but
Tell you one thing that I saw from the launch, and also in a couple of chats we had beforehand, Samsung is suddenly going after Apple when it's doing these things. Everything's mentioned either overtly or kind of as a barb. So things like the headphone jack, we saw that. Obviously the whole crowd went crazy for that, but making a very clear point, not needing to charge the S Pen or pair it. At the beginning, we did wireless charging first, we did water resistance first. All the things that we think are going to be coming with the iPhone, the Infinity display, with the iPhone 8, Samsung's very clear about, we did this first, this is our innovation. And yet they've got the dual camera. But it took ages for them to join in. If you're behind Apple, you're well behind the curve in innovation. Because Apple just waits and waits and waits and brings it in when it's time.
Yeah, definitely. That listening to them bang on about the dual camera after like 2-3 years ago with Honor and Huawei Honor 6 Plus, that brought the exact same thing, retrospective focusing. So it's don't get me wrong, this is probably going to be one of the most refined experiences. Samsung always smashes it when it comes to user interface and general experience.
Sure.
But it took a while. But did it need a dual camera?
Oh, this is the thing. I mean, one of the great things about the iPhone's dual camera is not the sort of the technical abilities that it had. It was the portrait mode. Yeah, it's just something that someone who doesn't really care about smartphones and sort of the technical abilities of them takes a picture. The background's defocused. The front's pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect on the iPhone. The ones they show are great, but generally they're pretty good. And people go, oh, that's actually quite nice, and then that's all they want. And with the Note, you've got these power users, people that want loads of stuff. So this was the time to bring a dual camera. And while I said to you, the live focus thing where you can defocus it afterwards and everything could be a problem for the non-smartphone lover. For the Note fans, it's going to be fine. It's going to be interesting to see when it's brought to the S9, which obviously it has to be.
Big time. But what I do love about this camera is
I know what you're saying. You
know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it anyway because you don't. It's like every
Let's
time.
just do it that way. Just don't say anything. We know what we're talking about.
Is the fact that it simultaneously takes a telephoto and a wide-angle picture at the same time when you are in the background defocus mode. So like this is something that other phones could do, but they don't, and this does. And so even though it's a really simple piece of software, it's really going to help me personally, because oftentimes I've switched between the two on an iPhone, and what's really annoying is the fact that the 2x zoom lens on the iPhone is so much worse in low light.
Yeah, of course.
And I end up using it and I'm just like, oh, I would have been better cropping in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I like the fact that when you know, I used it briefly, took a few photos, but when I took a live focus, I thought that's a nice picture. You kind of got a different version of that nice picture when you click away out afterwards. Yeah, it's a good move from Samsung, but like I said, it's a little bit technical, and I feel like, as I mentioned before, that we should probably have like a pro mode that you have to access. I think maybe the kind of if you want to get geeky with this, you have to upgrade it. Again, with a Note Power user, it's okay, but I think for the Galaxy S9, that's going to need to be sort of like foolproof almost.
Okay, I get that. So maybe just more automated and stuff. But like as far as the rest of the specs go, this is pretty much up there. You've got either Snapdragon 835 or an Exynos, depending on your region. 6 gig of RAM, which is more RAM than we've ever seen in a Samsung device before.
Well, worldwide ones, I think they've been.
Worldwide.
Some further places, but in terms of the global market where RAM isn't as important yet. This is by far it's one of the most powerful Android smartphones on the market, not just because of the specs that are in there. There are loads of phones that are doing this kind of level already. But the optimization that Samsung brings is always among the best. It's going to be interesting to see how this benchmarks as well.
And the complete ecosystem of advancements. Bixby, you're big on Bixby at the moment.
Yeah, well, in theory, I think that, Bixby, like having voice around the world, the image recognition is still poor. Bixby Vision, Bixby Home is going to have to get better. So I think we're at the point now where the Note 8 is out, we've got the Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus, and if Bixby doesn't get good in a very short amount of time, people are going to switch off. And while Samsung will just keep chucking money at it, and the marketing will keep going forward, and we'll get to what Siri has got to now. In the beginning, everyone was like, "What's this for?" I keep accidentally turning on the train. Yeah. And now there's the rock showing it off in space. Samsung will try and do that, but ultimately, if it's left behind now, it's going to be very, very difficult to catch up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And as far as that battery goes, like it still supports the fast wireless charging. Yep. Still supports fast charging via USB-C. The Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, 2 of the fastest charging phones around. Yeah. And obviously slightly smaller, so I probably charge a little bit quicker than the S8 Plus. Yep. Last a day, do you reckon?
Oh yeah, at least it lasts a day, I think. Depending, the only downside maybe is the fact that Note users are, the power users that Samsung calls them. But people do use this phone a lot because they can do so much stuff, and they're paying a lot of money for this.
How much?
Well, we're seeing in the UK, it's $869, SIM free.
So that's like way over $1,000 in the US.
It'll probably be close to that, probably maybe just under, but that's going to be a lot of money. And even in Note terms, we're seeing all these smartphones creep up in price massively this year, and the Galaxy Note 7 was, obviously you couldn't really buy it after a while, but it was about $100, £100 cheaper, and that's, I don't know, it's a lot to upgrade. And I feel like
it's a huge amount of money, but it's not a huge amount of money for iPhone users.
No, but then they're iPhone users, and I doubt too many are going to switch at this point, especially given the fact that the iPhone 8 is so close, and that's going to be a big draw for a lot of people. The amount of time people are saying is, iPhone going to be any good? And I'm like, actually, this is one that's worth waiting for compared to others. So Samsung knew it had to bring everything to the table, and while it was predictable and dull, I guess in a certain way, it did everything that you could do. Really. Yeah,
I mean, I think Samsung brought everything to the table a few months ago with the S8.
Which is a good move.
Which is absolutely a necessary move. It wouldn't surprise me if the S8 was meant to launch next year, but after Note 7, they had to do
because rushing things works for Samsung.
Okay, fine. But in a nutshell, impressions of the phone.
I mean, for me, I'm not someone who... I don't really care about the S Pen. Like I've tried to use it so many times, and I just don't feel like I need it. Like I don't need to sketch notes down on my phone very often. Although I would say this, the S Pen this time generally does feel more accurate than ever before. I know it's true, but I did feel like actually I can use this and I've not just scrawled like my hand on the page. Yeah. I know you're really great at speed sketching. You can do some really nice things. For me, with like my ham-fisted hands, it's just like I can't really do anything about it, and that is a lot better this year. But ultimately, it just feels like a really good S8 Plus, and I'd probably still buy the S8 Plus right now.
Okay, and the S8 Plus is like it might not necessarily go down in price, but it's cheaper already.
Yeah, it will go down in price as well, because Samsung does pretty good at dropping the price. What about you? What do you think overall?
So I'm very different to you. So anyone who hasn't used an S Pen before, the Wacom technology is like pretty exclusive with Samsung. I know Lenovo has it in their Yoga Book, but Microsoft, the other key pen integrated tech player, uses something called N-Trig and N-Trig Digitizer, which just isn't as good for me personally. 4,096 levels of pressure sensitivity on this S Pen. The tip is 0.7 millimeters thick. There's no latency really, and this is such a fast device that you can work across multiple layers in Autodesk Sketchbook Pro, for example, doodle away, export everything to Photoshop. It's kind of like having a Wacom Cintiq in your pocket.
What?
If that means something to you, then you probably want to pick up this phone. If it doesn't, then go for an S8
I've tried to look interested for a while.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's all right. I was interested enough. For both of us. Yeah, no, genuinely, like I really, really like this phone, and I would get this over an S8 Plus. But I know I'm a really specific use case.
Yeah, but basically what you're saying is the S Pen is actually something that's really impressed you here, and I think that's a lot of Note users care about the S Pen, so that makes a lot of sense.
But the gimmicks they've added haven't really, like the live
message. Although I don't know, making your own gifts by sketching them can be fun.
Yeah,
I suppose.
I guess it mainstreams it a little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, so that pretty much covers what we think of the phone. What do you guys think and want to know? We've got questions in the Q&A. So James is going to feed in some questions. Do you want to scooch over?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, go on then. Let's try and do that.
Okay. Sorry if the microphone's getting smashed.
Hey guys.
Hey, look, it's
Cool.
James.
We've got loads of people asking us lots of questions at the moment. So the first question is, will the Note 8 have a pressure sensitive display?
Yes and no. Pen pressure sensitive. Actually, and it has a haptic button, the haptic home button as is in the...
But no, basically, like the 3D touch of the iPhone. So you can't push it any harder or less hard. But the pressure sensitivity for the S Pen is really important.
Yeah,
cool.
And the home button, if that was too vague, where the home button used to be is a pressure sensitive area of the screen that if you press hard, acts as a home button, even when the phone's off, which is really handy.
Yeah, and that's from our favourite, the British Unknown. Thanks for commenting.
Thank you, John.
So, will it have an embedded fingerprint scanner? I know you've already spoken about this. You may have heard this earlier in the stream, but this is what people are asking.
It'll have an embedded fingerprint scanner around the back. And one thing we didn't mention was the fact that the recess for the fingerprint scanner is actually more pronounced.
Yes.
So while you're probably still going to smudge up your camera lens, you'll probably do it less because you can actually feel your way to the fingerprint scanner with more ease.
Yeah, I'd agree with that completely.
Is the phone waterproof?
Yes, IP68 rated, which means it's 1.5 meters for 30 minutes, and you can throw it in a sandpit and it'll be fine.
Cool.
Essentially.
The big question that everyone is asking about is price. You spoke a little bit about it really briefly. What do we know so far?
Really expensive, as I said. Like I said, we don't know all the prices. They're coming out literally right now from all of the networks and carriers in the US. Roughly, it's like £869 SIM-free. If you're in the UK, you're going to be spending at least £60 to get this without an upfront cost. It goes down to about £45 at the absolute lowest. It's a very expensive phone. There's tons of data being thrown around with this because people know they're going to be using it a lot, but ultimately, it's a very, very pricey phone, and it'll only probably be beaten by the iPhone 8 when it turns up.
Do you think it hit $1,000? Quite a few people in the comments, including Peter.
Just under probably, because $1,000 is a bad mark to have. People will look at that and go, "Oh my god, that's how much it is." So they'll try and sort of flip under that.
Really specific question that you might have noticed: does the S Pen go in both directions or just one?
As in tilt.
I'm assuming. What I think. Sorry.
As in go in.
Big Danny Milkman. Great YouTube name. I think what they mean is, will it go in both ways when you're putting it back into the phone? I'm not certain, but
I don't know. Honestly, don't.
Comment again, and then we can work out exactly what.
I think. I mean, it looks like it was pretty.
Because there was the problem of it getting stuck in the phone.
So I know with the Note 7 they addressed that.
Yeah.
With the Note 7 they addressed that problem. That was a Note 5 it got stuck, and in the Note 7 they said you can't get this stuck
unless you turn it around and just jam it.
Yeah. But worth noting also the S Pen's also IP68 water and dust resistant too.
Cool. Why is that a thing?
Because
it's plastic pretty much.
No, if you've ever used a Wacom, this is where the graphic designer in me, a clumsy graphic designer in me comes out. I use my Wacom.
Push those nerd glasses up, Basil.
I use my Wacom pen and I accidentally spilt some water, some tea on it. And because of something to do with the magnets and how it conducts electricity.
So it's magnets.
It's magnets. Everything magic.
Always magnets.
Magic magnets.
So Kim Joshua was asking about the battery life of the phone, and that got everyone really talking about it being 3,300 milliamps and then 3,500 milliamps for the Galaxy S8 Plus.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a big deal for you guys? I know you spoke a little bit about it earlier, but
I think for me it will actually. Yeah. Like I know. So Gareth saying probably not, but because this is a device that really asks for screen on time, HDR display, I'm going to be downloading loads and loads of episodes to it. I can't wait, but I do think that means that probably by about 6-7 p.m, me personally, based on my S8 Plus use, will need to charge up.
Yeah, I think, as we said, I think it could have been bigger. It could have been better. I think this probably will last most people well over the day, which means you'll get to the evening or at least close enough to it that you can start charging. So it should be just okay. But like I said, it's more of a missed opportunity to do something. Be the biggest, bestest Samsung phone ever.
I want a serious Samsung Infinity Display tablet. Even I wish they launched this. I know. Imagine an S8
so expensive.
an S8 Plus that was 10 inches or something.
Yeah.
That'd be off the chart.
I want an Infinity Display table. When they made those big tablet table things, that's what I really want.
Yeah.
No? So Mark Villegas was asking about the release date. What do we know so far?
15th of September, you'll be able to buy this around the world. We're thinking at least definitely it's in the UK, probably some more key territories, South Africa, Canada, Australia will probably get there as well. Pre-orders start today in the UK, so you can get that Carphone Warehouse. In the US, it generally seems to be beginning tomorrow, and you get free gifts. So there's a mixture of different things that you can get. 360 camera in some territories, a 256GB micro SD card, I think in the UK. I thought somewhere else, I think it's a 128GB with a wireless charging pad as well. Have a look. But what is weird, I haven't seen any Gear VR giveaways mentioned, and that seems to be one of the really big things. So we've seen a new Gear VR come out this time for the Galaxy Note 8. It's not new in the fact that it does anything other than being bigger for the phone to fit into, but that's not really been given away, and I think that's always a really good way to get people into that ecosystem, because they've got it for free and people actually do go for that. We see people actually choose those deals specifically for that.
Are there going to be Dex? There are going to be Dex bundles, aren't there?
It could be the Dex with the 128 something like that. Yeah,
I'm guessing there are going to be Dex bundles because they Samsung showed Gareth and I some really sweet Dex integration with full screen gaming. Well, I enjoyed it. I mean, the dude played Coldplay on a synth. I
mean, that's why it was kind of it seemed like it was one of those demos that was very well set up for what I can do if you have a synth or you have an interest in this specific game. Not all games, but I think that Samsung could have done more with Dex this time. Just have because if you want to play like an Android title on it, they showed you can do some jiggery pokery and make it work. The dedicated titles were quite sparse, and I thought if you had loads of those, it would have really said Dex is a big focus for us. It's going to be a big thing. Maybe it's just not a big focus. Maybe it's just a punt. So who knows?
I've lost your name at the moment, but someone earlier was asking, will it come with an IR sensor?
No IR blaster at the top.
You love those.
I do love my IR blasters. Thank you, Honor.
I've also lost someone else's name who was asking about whether it will have a temperature sensor on it. I'm assuming that's
as in thermometer.
7. Yeah.
So every phone you can actually install benchmarks that read the temperature of the battery as is. So you can already every phone has that. But yeah, use your fingers. If it gets warm, then you know you're in trouble.
Cool.
One thing I saw there was, does it have an HDR display? And yes, it does. Is the answer. Mobile HDR still taking a while to come through, but as Netflix and Amazon now can support it, that's been enabled on the Galaxy S8 for a while, so I assume it's going to come straight out of the box with the Galaxy Note 8 as well. Cool.
Big Daddy Milkman is back in the comments, and he's asking if the battery is removable or not.
Oh, come on. You know it's not. It's not been removable for so many years. That's how you make it waterproof and water resistant and all that kind of stuff.
Paramara Herath, sorry if I got your name wrong there. What Android version is this running?
Android 7.1.1, annoyingly, and not Oreo.
No!
I say annoyingly. Actually, it's not a great thing to launch with the latest version of Android straight away, because you'd have to do a lot of work to optimize it, make sure the battery life runs well, make sure all the features are integrated correctly. It's much better to wait 2 months and then have it rolled out later than it is to launch with it just for the sake of saying that.
Plus on top of that, Samsung UI covers up pretty much all of what Oreo would have been differentiation wise. So you're really interacting with Samsung, you're not interacting with you're not interacting with Oreo.
But at the same time, I think I don't know how deep Samsung can go. Talking to Ingjon Reeve from the Bixby creation, he says that they have such a level of control over the phone, it's quite impressive. But Oreo does bring battery improvements, and surely some part of that would come through. The multitasking, the split screen, it's already there. Samsung will be even more enhanced, so there will be improvements.
Definitely,
it's just make sure they work before we roll them out. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time, and it's just a headline stat.
Abraham in the comments was asking if the Bixby button is locked.
To Bixby, so you could remap the Bixby button on the S8, and then with an update, Samsung revoked the ability to remap the Bixby button. I'm guessing it's going to be locked.
Again, the chat I had, he was very, very specific about locking that, because he was like, we don't want people to not get Bixby. The whole idea is to keep forcing it down their throats, because otherwise they would never get used to the fact that it's there. I'm 100% sure it'll still be locked, because Samsung really wants Bixby to be a thing. There will definitely people will hack that open soon, and you can use it for other things, but
probably with custom romming and stuff, not for the everyday user.
No, exactly.
And so someone is also asking whether it's worth the upgrade from the Galaxy Note 3, so quite an older handset, to the Note 8. What do you think so far?
Yeah. How have we still got a Note 3?
I can totally get why you've still got a Note 3. Like, I only stopped using the Note 3 because I had to. And like here as well, because we didn't get a Note 6 never happened. We never got the Note 5. My brothers
True,
just
yeah,
held
I
out
suppose
with a
actually,
Note 4.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I'm almost jealous of somebody that's got a phone that's so old and they can finally do an upgrade into something that's really good.
Actually, genuinely, I'm jealous of someone who can warrant putting down 800 and something pounds on this phone.
Yeah,
because it's expensive, but if it's your next phone, go for it.
But also, just the jump you'll have in terms of performance and the way it looks and what it can do is just going to be like 15 Christmases pushed into one.
The Note 3 was the one where you like tapped and it went. It was like a water ripple effect every time you touched the screen.
It was inspired by nature, was their whole thing back then, because it had to be not inspired by the iPhone. I was very, very clear about that at the time.
Cool. 2 more questions, 3 more questions even. Should someone upgrade from the S7 Edge to a Note 8?
Only if they need a pen. S7 Edge is excellent.
Yeah.
It's too early. If S6 and backwards, yes. S7 upwards, no.
Cool. Gorilla Glass 5 on the screen? Yep.
Easy.
Cool.
Yep.
There you go. Easy question. And the last question is from Sweet Moo. What a great name as well. Thanks for commenting. The big question, is it worth it? Is the Galaxy Note 8 worth it?
I think for a Galaxy Note fan, yeah. I think you've already kind of got over the price if you're a Galaxy Note fan. You already assumed you're going to spend a lot, even more this time. But yeah, the Samsung Galaxy S8 is the best phone in the world, and the Note 8 only improves on that.
Yeah.
You take away price, and you've just got more functionality. It depends if you want the S Pen. So, yes, if you're a Note fan. No, if you're not.
Yeah,
and it's an obvious answer.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Could be the best phone in the world.
Yeah,
interesting. We'll find out soon.
We will when we get on in for a review, which will hopefully be in the next few weeks. So stay tuned to Tech Radar for that. If you've enjoyed this live video, thumb up, comment. If
I've enjoyed it. It's been nice being on for the first
time.
Then
thumb up, Gareth.
Sorry.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, comment in the comment section below if we didn't get to your question. Thank you, James.
Yeah, keep the comments coming. I will answer some of them in a moment and give you some links to anything that should be able to help you.
Yes, it does have a headphone jack. We've been through that. Just
headphone jack. Yeah. Totally has a headphone jack. And Tuesday is when we're going to be doing our next live show. This takes place of tomorrow's one, so check back Tuesday. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stop screaming.